Hi, this is Danielle with Worthy Pursuits. Sorry for the horrible video in the car, but if I don't do it now, it will never happen. I'm a mom of 6 and I've been homeschooling for, 5 years now, and I love it. And so I just wanted to share a little bit about one of the programs that we use, which is All About Reading. First, the way that All About Reading works is they have several different levels, obviously, of reading. They don't necessarily correlate to grade level, so level 1 doesn't mean you should be doing this in 1st grade. It's just a progression. So they start with a pre-reading level, which has Ziggy a Zebra, and that whole level is just getting kids to know what their letters are. I don't particularly care for it, honestly. For that pre-reading level, I bought it later. It wasn't what I started with, thankfully, but I purchased it later with one of my with my 3rd child, just because I thought it would be fun. But basically, it's just a bunch of worksheets, one for each letter of the alphabet, and you're teaching your child the letter name of the alphabet of each letter. So for A, it just teaches them this is an A, and they have a little, not even activity, they have a coloring sheet that goes with it. So for moon, for example, it has a M and it shows an astronaut, and they're supposed to use foil to make the moon in their picture. It's for the price that you're paying for that program, it's not worth it to me. You could just print an alphabet sheet off the internet for free. And so I don't see a benefit to using it. I also, with my own children, did not teach them the letter names first. I right away taught them the actual sound that the letter makes. So I never taught my child that an M is called an M. I just said and just the familiarity as they learned to read and they were older, they know all their letter names, but it wasn't something that I sat down and taught them, because when they started sounding outwards, I wanted them to look at an M and think right away instead of M, and then trying to now translate it in their mind to what sound does this letter M make. So I don't suggest purchasing, honestly, the pre-reader program. Right now it's yellow and it has Ziggy the Zebra on it, and they use a little puppet, which my kids actually like the puppet. We use it for other things. I use it with my Sunday school class, but I don't suggest it as a way of starting. You can use it, of course, and just teach your children the letter sound, but some of them honestly are confusing. The one for N is a ninny goat. I think that's what you call it. So it was really confusing for my kids, because as they're coloring the letter N, they kept saying goat, and I'd have to tell them, no, that's actually not a g, it's a n. So to me that didn't make sense. It wasn't a natural flow for them to associate even the picture that they saw with the letter sound. So I don't suggest using that one. With my oldest son, who is now 8, he just turned 8 this summer, we started with level 1. Level 1 is the first level that's actually teaching reading. So he started that in kindergarten. He was a pretty advanced kindergartner, so we went ahead and started with that one. Basically, you have to know all your letter sounds though when you do start, and I'll explain at the end of the video how I teach my children their letter sounds initially. With level 1, what happens is, it's the way the program works, I'll say, is they have several different lessons. You have one lesson which will teach the child how to, like either a new phonogram or a new just letter sound, whatever it is. It teaches a new skill. And then typically the second lesson, the lesson that comes after that, is usually application or to read a story out of the readers that come with the program. So when you buy the program, you get a teaching manual, an activity book for the kids, a bunch of flashcards, some magnets, and a readers that come with the lesson. Sorry, I'm also driving right now, which is also why I can't show you all the stuff that comes with it. So with that level 1, my children, the first lesson in level 1 is for the sounds M, A, P, and S. So it has the children start to blend those. So they'll say app, 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 map. They're starting to sound out letters. I loved it. With the first one, I would have my son do all of the activity sheets, everything that went with it. We followed the program pretty much to a T. In those lessons, it has, they call it, it's a scripted lesson book, so it actually tells you literally exactly what to say. So I didn't know a lot of rules about reading. I was always a good reader and speller, but I didn't know what all the rules were. And so if you don't know that, it's totally fine. It teaches you those rules as it goes through it. So it'll say something like, when you're learning about the silent E, one of the things is that an English word does not end in V. So you use the silent E so that way the word live or live, I'll say live, it's a different reason to use the silent E. But for live, it's because an English word can't end in a V, so you put the E there. And live, it tells you it's because it makes the I say its long vowel name. So it's teaching you all of these rules while you're teaching your child to read, and it translates amazing into spelling. I think the program is amazing that way because they actually started all about reading. The company started with all about spelling, and so their program is designed to teach reading, but it also teaches everything that you need for spelling and spelling rules. You're aware of those the entire time you're learning to read. So my son did great, absolutely loved it. Well, he loved it once he could read, actually. There's a bit of a struggle. We had to play some games and add some other things in. By the end of, by the end of level 2, I realized for him, he hated doing the activities, whereas my daughter loves crafts, so she loved cutting all the things out and pasting everything together. So by the end of level 2 with my son, I was just going through the lessons and then letting him do the reading. If there was something he struggled with, we would play a game. I have a separate video about teaching reading to reluctant readers, which talks about all of the things that I did that you could use really for any reading program, all of the games and things that I played to help my son enjoy reading. But I just came to the point with him where I just wanted him to read and enjoy reading, so there's no reason to do the crafting projects with it if we could do it a different way. And then so that was at the end of level 2 when we transitioned out of following the book exactly. So by now my son is almost done with level 4, and when we go, we just sit down. All I need is a teaching manual and the reader for him. We go through the teaching manual. I'll tell him whatever it is. The TI makes the, ish sound and like motion, things like that. And then he has a bunch of words in the teaching manual that I have him read to me, showing that he understands the new rule, and then he reads to me from the reader, and that's it, we're done. And actually reading from the reader is supposed to be done in a second lesson, but I just combine the two together. So typically it teaches a new skill, and then we'll have them read a story from the reader. We do both of those in one sitting twice a week. And he's great. He just turned 8 this summer, a few months ago, and he already tested out from the charter school. They did testing for him, and he's completely tested out of all the reading comprehension, everything related to reading. My son is completely tested out of because his level of reading is so high. He's able to understand, his reading comprehension is great, but also his ability to decode words, his ability to find the different phonograms, and the way that they test, they like break words up certain ways. So he already tested out. I believe it's to test out of it you have to be at the end of a 5th grade reading level. So I don't know what level he really is at. He can read anything that he wants to. My husband just gave him a copy of the 95 Thesis by Martin Luther last night, and he sat down and started reading it. So he can read anything that he is interested in reading. And I owe all of that to All About Reading. I had no idea how I was going to teach reading to my children, and that program was just so easy to follow. So I absolutely love it. I recommend it for anyone. I think the big hang up for people, because it's so scripted, is that you have to be aware of your child's needs and just adapt it to meet your child's needs. The people that I've heard tell me, because I suggest it to all of my friends, the ones that I've heard that don't like it is because the very first level, level 1, I'm skipping the pre-reading level because I don't suggest that at all, but the level 1, it starts to let kids decode words, and it doesn't really go over a lot of the rules yet. And so some of my friends thought, oh, this doesn't teach what I want my children to know phonics. This isn't teaching them phonics. But as soon as you start level 2, that's when all of the rules come in. So the idea is that they're getting the ability to read, and they're just focusing on blending, which is the hardest thing for most kids. They're just focusing on blending in that level 1, and then in level 2 they start to do the other things of, now they're going to start remembering rules, and they learn about different things also through their program, like what is an onomatopoeia, however you say that word. So they are learning some reading comprehension skills are mixed into it, obviously, because it's a reading program. And so I think the way that they set it up is great. If you're the kind of person who just wants to do your own thing, which that's more my personality, I enjoy that I have a skeleton now to work with, and I'm just kind of following the basic line. So I just kind of go through the lesson. I don't actually read the script. I just look at what it's telling me to teach my child, and I just say it to them. I mean, my kids are pretty quick learners, so that makes it really easy. I have some friends though who are not confident in their ability to teach their children or to be able to read how their children are understanding things. And so with those children, or for those moms, being able to just read straight through the script is a huge blessing for them. They absolutely love it. They love that they can just tell their child, you know, read it exactly, literally line for line. This program, I have to say, has tons of manipulatives and things on the board where they're changing letters. I do that with level 1 to get my kids used to the program. So it'll have you do map, and then you shift the letter M out, and it's tap. Now you put a T there. For all different kinds of things, open syllables, closed syllables, which I had no idea what those even were before I started teaching this. So they have an open door and a closed door. There's a lot of stuff that happens with the magnets, and I do that with my kids for the first 2 levels, level 1 and level 2. And then as they're older now, my children, or once they were reading, I didn't find it as helpful for my kids, but every kid is different. Maybe one of my other children will need it more. So I highly recommend this. I'll do a separate video that just talks about or shows the manipulatives and things for it eventually when I have time and I don't have 6 kids screaming at me. I'm on my way. I'm at a dentist appointment right now waiting for it, so that's why I had a little bit of time to throw this together. But if you're interested in that program, you can also get a little more information about it on my other videos about reading. The Games for Reluctant Readers is a great one if you just have a child that is not interested in reading. So I hope that this is helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I will try to make more videos more often. I don't know though, we'll see how it goes. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.